Chapter 16 30 minutes until impact. Coronis was beginning to shed an ominous glow above the horizon, her unbridled wrath now prepared to let loose upon the planet. The temperature was rising far quicker than it would normally this time of the day. Some stray particles from the CME were already making an impact with the planet, increasing the temperature. The full fury of the CME had not yet reached them. However, it would very soon. This morning was go time. Nothing could go wrong now. 10,000 lives were at stake. Outside of the ship bulkhead was an ocean of cars, from which thousands of people were flooding out. John and a few of the council members were helping to guide people in, trying their best to avoid a crowd crush or stampede. Justin had never been more stressed in his life. His heart was pounding like a jackhammer against concrete. It almost hurt. Standing next to him was Abigail, who was clinging to Justin's arm tightly. The noise, the impending sense of potential doom, and everything else going on was proving to be a lot for her to handle. Justin was relieved it would all be over soon, both for him and everyone on this planet. After some time, everyone that emerged from the sea of cars was now on the ship, and the torrent of people had stopped. John had already ordered the council to start counting all the people in the ship. He insisted on leaving no one behind, even if it meant sacrificing his own life to get everyone on board. Coronis began to rear her ugly head further above the horizon. The engineering teams were dashing around, conducting the final checks on the ship. The best pilots and captains currently present on Solfilius had been organised into a crew who would be responsible for piloting the Bronto. They had moved into the bridge, where they were ready to take off when given the all clear from John. After what felt like an eternity to Justin and the others, the final checks had been conducted on the ship. The Bronto was ready for flight. The council had finished their count of everyone on board too. Everyone was on board. But one. John was rushing around. He was trying to ensure everyone was ready to go. A member of the council approached him. It was Adam. "John, we are missing one person." "Derek," he said, nervously. "Damn it!" John yelled. He bolted out the bulkhead and ran out to search for him. Justin stayed put and watched on from inside the safety of the ship. It didn't take long for John to find Derek. He was in the utility station, rummaging around in some kind of bag. Suddenly, it clicked in Justin's head. He went back for his alcohol. Justin felt furious. John had just endangered his own life to try and save Derek's. He watched on in anger as John rushed him back onto the ship, forcing him to leave his bag behind. Justin knew Derek took such a stupid risk because he was addicted. He was probably freaking out today. He wanted to drink so he could cope. Despite his attempts to sympathize, Justin was still furious. The pair rushed onto the ship. "Close the bulkhead! Let's get moving!" John yelled. It was a good thing they got back quickly. The temperature was rapidly climbing. The CME was building in intensity, and they couldn't afford to keep the door open for much longer. The bulkhead slowly creaked shut. The lights came on inside as the fusion reactor roared to life. John barged through the countless people and rushed into the bridge. "Pilot team, will you go for takeoff?" John ordered. "Roger that, John." "Engine ignition in. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition." Chapter 17 Impact. The whole hull shook as the engines roared to life. The deep, loud crackle resonated throughout the ship as it began to lift off the ground, kicking up dust and sending it flying in all directions. The ship accelerated upwards, gaining speed. The VTOL thrusters began to slowly turn towards a horizontal angle as the ship got higher into the atmosphere, accelerating the craft forwards. The artificial gravity kicked in, holding everyone to the floor. Justin felt Abigail grab his hand and hold onto it tightly. The pair made their way over to one of the many small windows on the starboard side, pushing through the crowd of people. They both watched as the ship distanced itself further and further from the wretched planet. From the window, a dazzling aurora had formed around the whole planet as the intense solar winds ionized in the upper atmosphere. Justin had never seen anything like it. He knew that its beauty was nothing short of an illusion, however. Its true nature was far more sinister, and it was only a sign of what was happening down below. After a short burn, the Bronto had achieved orbit. The ship was now high above Solfilius, so everyone on board was kept safe from the CME. An announcement came from over the loudspeaker notifying everyone on board of the news. "Everyone, we have achieved orbit and are safely out of the path of the CME." A massive celebration from the crowd of people within the ship erupted once everyone got word of the success. Abigail blocked her ears to try to drown out the noise, but even she too couldn't help but rejoice. Justin felt a wave of relief wash over him like nothing else he had ever felt in his life. They were now safe. Abigail took a moment to stop blocking her ears and wrapped her arms around Justin, hugging him. He hugged back. Abigail experienced a moment of apprehension following this. I'm sorry, was that weird? I hope I didn't make you uncomfortable, Abigail panicked. No, it's okay, Abigail. Your timing was perfect, Justin replied, having a laugh at the situation. John approached Justin and Abigail. He let out a slight smile after seeing them hug. Justin, Abigail, I thought you might be interested in watching the security camera footage from the planet, John suggested. John had a big grin on his face. Clearly he was doing a lot better now that everyone was safe. Yeah, sure, I'll watch, Justin replied. Abigail gave a simple nod. Follow me into the bridge, John replied. Justin and Abigail followed John, slowly making their way through the crowd. Hey Abigail, once we are home, I'd love to spend more time together, Justin asked of Abigail. So would I, she replied, blushing. Justin and Abigail were now inside the bridge with John. Justin was now looking at a ship console within the bridge. On the console was a display of various security cameras on the base. They were still active, for now. A large group of the crew were all crowding around him and the panel, watching. One camera displayed an overview of the ship landing pad, the hangar, and the small white building next to it. The sky was a fierce red, and it was impossible to see what was going on beyond a few hundred meters. The camera footage was slowly being overtaken by static. As the camera gradually broke down in the heat, Justin could see the hangar begin to fall apart and melt from the intense heat and radiation. Justin found himself eternally grateful he wasn't on that planet. I am glad we aren't there anymore, Abigail said. I could not agree more, Justin replied. Thanks to everyone, we aren't, John added. In the group of people watching the security camera footage was Derek. He made his way over to John, Justin, and Abigail. Justin looked at him. He looked ashamed, yet relieved at the same time. I'm sorry, John, Derek said, clearly ashamed of himself. I never should have gone back for that alcohol. When I did, something just clicked inside my mind. Just what the hell was I doing? Risking my life trying to bring it with me, and probably also endangering someone else who was sent to go and get me, he continued. I think all of the stress within my mind just took over and I lost control, Derek added. Also, John, I'm sorry about insulting you at dinner last night. I overstepped with that joke, he finished with. Justin was very happy to hear Derek apologising. It wasn't an easy thing for him to be so vulnerable like this. It seemed like he genuinely wanted to change. Justin always knew deep down Derek wanted to improve, but he just never had the strength to reach out for help. Derek was also opening up to John. Clearly, he had started to feel a lot closer to John over the past couple of days, and felt it was safe to be vulnerable around him. Derek, I am proud of you for taking responsibility, and for having the strength to acknowledge you did wrong by me and apologise for it, John replied. I apologise for prying into your personal problems. In my efforts to help you, I feel I crossed a boundary, John replied. Derek, I am sorry I contributed to the prying, Justin added. Thanks, and thank you for saving my life, John, Derek responded. I'm sorry I cut you off while you were talking about the water tanks yesterday, Abigail. I see you've gotten a little involved with my friend Justin. Treat him well. Also, he hates having his hair touched, so make sure you do it as much as you can, Derek apologised and joked. I will treat him well. Thank you for apologising, Derek. I will touch his hair, Abigail replied, somewhat awkwardly, accepting his apology. Derek's true self had been fully brought out by everything that had happened over the past couple of days. Justin couldn't remember the last time he had seen Derek like this. It was nice to see him being open, despite it clearly being difficult for him. An alert came in over one of the screens on the small ship was docking on a side port on the Bronto. Ah, that must be the utility station crew now. I am going to greet them now, John said. Pilot crew, send out a message to the colony on Liberandum. Tell them we will be arriving on the planet and to make preparations for us to land. We can stay there for a short time and make our way back to Earth from there, John instructed. John then left the bridge. On it, sir, one of the crew members replied. Justin was very happy that all of his co-workers from the utility station had made it. He followed John to go and greet them. The workers entered the Bronto, followed by a big cheer from everyone on board. Justin rushed up to say hello. The crew was given a very warm welcome by everyone. He spoke to his co-overseer, Randy, about each other's experiences and about everything that went on during the chaos over the last few days. After greeting the Orbital Gateway crew, Justin and John both made their way back to the bridge once again to be with everyone. We will be engaging the warp drive soon. I have been told the journey should take about 5 days or so. The message capsule should arrive a day before us to inform the colonists on Liberandum of our arrival, John stated. Great to hear, Justin replied. John, Justin, Derek, and Abigail all stood together and watched through the front window on the bridge. One of the pilots started counting down. Engaging warp drive in T-minus 10 seconds. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Warp drive engaged. A low electrical hum resonated throughout the ship as the warp drive began to operate. They had done it. Everyone was saved. Their journey home had begun.